these are some instructions for your final ADA checklist project. What you're going to do is you have this document, and it's called ADA Checklist for Existing Facilities. It's 89 pages long, but don't let that freak you out because we're not going to do all 89 pages. And the way it's laid out, there's images and some other things that take up a lot of space. But to start, I just want to explain this. So you're going to act as an ADA inspector, and as part of your duties, you're going to need to document ADA violations on the campus. And to do that, you will document them through this checklist that's shown in this image right here, as well as through notes, any types of drawings you need to make or sketches, and photos labeled with captions. And we'll get to that a little bit more later. To start off, I want you to read through how to use this checklist. So you can see it says to get organized, one person can conduct the survey, but it's easier if you have two people. So one person can take measurements while the other writes them down, or one person can take photos. I am allowing you to work with one other person. If you need to work with 3 people because of the odd number of students in our class, that is the max, so it's 3 max per group. But I would prefer 2. The second step, you can read through this, obtain a floor plan, and make a sketch. I've included some floor plans for you in your documentation. You may also need to sketch some of your documentation as well. You'll see as you go through. And you're going to need several tools, so this checklist, a clipboard, a tape measure, possibly a level. Don't worry about this door pressure gauge, a camera, and then don't worry about I guess you could bring a bag to hold all of your contents. So we're reading through this to get started. The next step is to start outside. So you can see in your instructions here that I'm having you start in lot number 10. Lot number 10 is located across from the new C-Wing entrance. So lot number 10 is right here. You're going to evaluate lot number 10. So if we go back to the checklist, I'll show you what you're going to evaluate in a minute. Make sure you take good notes and that you take good measurements. Also, when you're working outside, you can stop by and grab a safety vest from us because we don't want you working in the parking lot without being visible. If you have your own safety vest, you can bring that when you're working outside. This is just giving you some tips for measuring the parking spaces, measuring the clear widths of doors. Opening force you won't need to do, and also you can check to see if your arm is going to go through an opening, so that's what this is representing. Accessible slope, this indicates how to measure slope, so this is where you'll need to use a level. If you have trouble finding a level, make sure you reach out to me. And then after the survey, what you're going to do is you are going to list all your barriers that you found. You're not going to develop a plan, make changes, or follow up. So to get started, you can see on your checklist, as I said, you're going to start in lot number 10 of the Staying Campus, which is located over here. And you are going to complete the cover sheet for the ADA checklist. The ADA checklist shows the project, so this is the name of our assignment, the building, that would be the Stanton Campus building, the location, you could write the address, the date you did your survey, and then the name of you and your partner. Okay, now you'll see this is priority 1. So I've broken down your assignment based on all the priorities. So priority 1 is the approach and the entrance. After you complete the cover sheet, you want to complete bullet points 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5. Make sure you're checking these because I do skip over a few bullet points that I don't think are necessary for you. You're going to come over to your checklist and you're going to read bullet point 1.1. It asks if there's at least one route from the site arrival point, the parking, passenger loading zone, the sidewalk, transportation, that does not require the use of stairs. So you would look and investigate that. Is there an arrival that doesn't require stairs? Yes or no. And then you want to document that with a photo so I can see where you were looking. Next is 1.2. If there's parking provided, it wants to know, are there adequate number of accessible spaces provided? So you're going to have to count the spaces. put the total number here, put the total number of accessible spaces. You can see there's a little formula broken down, and then you'll just say yes or no, and you'll take a photo of the accessible spaces. Again, is one of the accessible spaces van accessible? So you'll take a look at that. You can read the instructions here, say yes or no, and take a photo of that. Then you'll just keep going through these, and you can see these pictures really help you to understand the question that's being asked over here. Now some of them, like I said, I skipped over, so if that was the case, just go ahead and cross it off with a big X to know that we skipped over that one. Alright, so that's priority 1, approach and entrance. So you're starting in the parking lot and then you're moving to the accessible route. So in your assignment, I've laid out the accessible route for you in an attached map. And you'll see that the route goes from lot number 10. You want to follow along the sidewalk, up the sidewalk into the main entrance right here of the A wing. We're not talking about the main entrance or the entrance into the C wing. You're coming to the main entrance of the A wing. So in the first priority 1 for the approach and the entrance, you are assessing, sorry, I lost my document. You're assessing that route from lot 10 to the main entrance. Then you're going to measure some things, look at some surfaces. Again, check yes or no and make sure that if it says photo, that you're indicating that you're taking a photo of the object. And photo number here later is going to help you to be able to organize all your photos to make sure that you're recording that properly as well. Okay, then we finally get to the actual entrance of the building. And for that entrance portion, you're going to again start at the main entrance right into the A wing of the building. And please note that I actually don't start at bullet point 1.37 for your assignment. It starts at 1.41. So just make sure that you're paying attention to those bullet points. A good thought may be to go through the assignment list and through this checklist and just cross off anything you don't need so you don't get confused or do extra work. Again, documentation is just key. Make sure your measurements are accurate and that you're recording those photo numbers. Alright, and then for the access to goods and services, you'll see that what I've asked you to do is from the inside of the building, so right when you walk through the front doors, you're standing in front of the public safety desk, I want you to go to the library, but I want you to take a specific route. You're going to walk through the main entrance and take a right, and you can either walk up the stairs or in this case you'll have to take the elevator to assess the elevator. Then you're going to walk down the hall to the library. While doing so, I want you to assess the path to the library and then the space itself inside of the library, the checkout counter. And you'll see that these bullet points here cover those different areas for the goods and services. So we'll start off, it's asking about accessible routes. You're going to measure some of the hallways. You're going to measure, if we go down a little bit more, inside of the elevator, lots of things inside of the elevator. Just make sure if someone's trying to use the elevator that you let them do that and you step aside. So it may take you a little bit of time to complete this. Okay, and after you complete that part, you're going to complete priority 3, which is the toilet rooms. So I want you to evaluate the path to the toilet rooms on the second floor of the A wing. So if you were to walk through the front entrance and walk through the stairs directly in front of you, there's 2 sets of toilet rooms at the top of those stairs, men's room and women's room. I want you to evaluate those toilet rooms, but your path should be from the library to the toilet rooms. Do not take photos in the toilet rooms, even though it says to do that on your checklist. There could be people in there. It's just awkward, so we don't want to do that. But you are going to have to measure some things in there, so just make sure that if you're in there, you're not freaking anybody out. Maybe choose a time when it's not so busy. But you're going to complete several portions of priority 3 toilet rooms just to take a look at those so you can see them. The measurements it's asking for are the toilet room itself, like the locations of the sinks and the actual toilet and the heights of the sinks in the toilet. And those are going to be really important for you later on when you're designing for your capstone and also when you're designing an AAT 250. So this will be a great guide for you to keep and to use later. The final documentation and submission is you're going to submit a copy of your completed ADA checklist. Please note that if you write comments or notes on this checklist, I'd like you to retype those notes and then label them appropriately. So say you had notes for 3.24 on a separate piece of paper or a separate document, Word document, you might write 3.24 and then write your notes for that document. I also want you to record all of your photos as a combined PDF file. So once you get all your photos together and you have the numbers in the correct order, you can combine the PDF. And you can do that right on campus with our PDF creator. I recommend labeling the photos as they're labeled for each priority. So say you take a photo of, let's just look for an example here, 2.27, which is showing some of these heights inside the elevator. I would just label my photo as 2.27. And then you'll put all your photos in order and submit that with this checklist. Make sure that you format everything professionally. All notes are retyped, the photos are referenced properly, and that everything is submitted as a combined PDF. Please do not submit individual photos as they will not be accepted. If you have additional questions, please post them into our Ask the Class forum.